Welcome back to episode 4 of Starting from Zero in Farming Simulator 25. If you caught episode 3, you already know that I invested in a stone crusher and added a few more greenhouses. If you haven't watched that one yet, I recommend you check it out. I'll add a card in the top right corner so you can easily find it. Before we jump in, it would really mean a lot to me if you could like the video and subscribe. These episodes take a long time to make, and your support helps more than you know. All right, let's get into it. The grind continues. It's December, and I'm starting off with just $62,000 in the bank. Time to hustle. First thing I did was sell the stones that the stone crusher produced overnight. That gave me just over $3,000. Then I accepted a contract to cultivate Field 52, which would bring in $3,700. So I jumped into the tractor, headed to the field, and hired an AI worker to take care of it. Next, a plowing contract popped up. That one would earn me $6,600. Same process again, drove over to the field and let an AI worker handle it. After that, a few more contracts became available. One of them was cultivating Field 51, right next to the one I was already working on. That paid $6,400. Then came a big one, cultivating Field 38 for $12,000. That was insane. So I kept grinding contracts, both plowing and cultivating, and soon I had over $120,000 in the bank. I knew I needed to reinvest that money smartly. The easiest decision was to expand my greenhouses. I bought 3 more, transported water to them, and set them up to produce lettuce. By the end of December, I had $12,500 left in the bank. There wasn't much else to do, so I slept through to January. When I woke up, the greenhouses had produced overnight, and I now had $65,000 in the bank. Just like before, the first thing I did in January was sell the stones from the stone crusher. Then I decided to purchase one more greenhouse, bringing my total to 8. After taking care of all my tasks on the farm, I moved on to contract work. The only one available in January was a rock removal job on Farmland 86, paying $1,800. But that was it. Since it's winter, there's not much to do. So I relied on my passive income sources, the greenhouses and the stone crusher. By the end of the day, I had just under $83,000 in the bank. This is exactly why I made these investments. During slow months like this, they keep the money flowing. Fast forward to February. I woke up and there was snow on the ground. So I followed my routine, sold the stones from the stone crusher, filled up the greenhouses with water, and made sure lettuce production was going strong. With just under $140,000 in the bank, I decided it was time to make another investment. I had a few options: keep expanding greenhouses or diversify. I chose to diversify and invested around $80,000 into a chicken coop. I also bought 360 baby chicks, which cost me just under $2,200. But there was one problem: I had no food for the chickens. So I had to improvise. I went to the store and bought a trailer that could haul grain and also carry pallets when the chickens start producing eggs. That cost me $31,000. Then, I bought 8,000 liters of wheat for $12,000. I know it's probably not the most cost-effective way to feed them, but I might change that later. I hitched up the trailer, loaded the wheat, and drove it back to the coop. I made sure the chickens had everything they needed to start growing and hopefully producing eggs soon. What do you think? Was this a smart investment or not? Let me know in the comments below. Since it's still winter, there wasn't much more to do. I ended February with $57,000 and called it a day. I woke up in March and went straight into my daily routine. Checked on the greenhouses, filled them with water, sold the stones, and looked after the chickens. Then it was time for contracts. First job was fertilizing Field 29, which paid just under $1,000. Not much, but it was a good way to start the day. Then came a better one, wrapping bales on Field 11, which paid $5,000. I kept grinding contracts all day, plowing, fertilizing, bale wrapping, and more. After a full day of work, my bank balance hit just over $170,000. So I decided to invest in another field. I bought farmland 36 for $118,000. You might be wondering why. Well, buying food for the chickens all the time won't be sustainable. My plan is to grow it myself. In the long run, this should be way more profitable. Did I make the right call? Let me know in the comments. That wrapped up March, and I ended the day with $54,000 in the bank. Straight into April. As usual, I started with my daily routine, selling stones, checking greenhouses, transporting water, and looking after the chickens. Field 36, the one I bought in March, was already cultivated. All I had to do now was plant it. Since it's April, the only crop I could plant that chickens eat was sorghum. Wheat and barley are planted in other months. If you know which of the three, sorghum, wheat, or barley, is best for chickens, let me know in the comments. I bought a planter for $59,000 and some seeds. Then, I hired an AI worker to plant sorghum on field 36. After that, I accepted fertilizing contracts on fields 13 and 30, which brought in another $4,800. I did several more fertilizing jobs and ended April with $98,500. Then came May. Same routine, daily checkups, then straight into contracts. At the start, I took on 2 fertilizing jobs that paid $3,300. I did more of them throughout the day, including one that paid just over $7,000. That's pretty much all that happened in May. But thanks to the greenhouses and the stone crusher, I finished the day with $221,000. In June, I kept the same routine but had one extra task, buying more food for the chickens. I hitched up the trailer and drove to the store to buy another 8,000 liters of wheat for $12,000. Hopefully that's the last time I need to buy chicken feed because in August, the sorghum will be ready for harvest. I think field 36 is big enough to feed them for a whole year. Back to contract grinding. I did multiple jobs, mowing, bale wrapping, and more. One contract stood out. Harvesting spinach on field 87, which paid $8,600 after leasing the equipment. Plus, I sold the leftover crops for extra income. While browsing the store, I found a baler on sale in the used section for more than half off the new price. I grabbed it for $58,400. It comes with a wrapper on the back that wraps the bales automatically. Super helpful if I start doing grass in the future. That was it for June. I ended the month with $273,000. Now into July, the final month of year 1 and starting from zero. I did my usual tasks, set up the stone crusher to sell stones, checked on the chickens, and watered the greenhouses. Then it was time for more contract work, fertilizing, baling, cultivating. A really productive day with lots of high-paying jobs. My bank account grew to $372,000. The chickens produced 4 pallets of eggs, totaling 4,000 liters. I loaded them onto the trailer and sold them at the bakery, earning $13,300. Not bad at all for the first few months. Before the sun went down, I accepted 2 more contracts to harvest peas on fields, 55 and 78. These would bring in $10,000 from the jobs, plus income from the leftover crops. Now here's something interesting. Since I planted sorghum on field 36, I'll need a harvester in August. But imagine if the game let you hire another farmer to harvest your field for you, just like a contract job. You'd pay them instead of buying your own harvester. I know buying one is better in the long run, but it would be such a great feature. Anyway, I saw a harvester in the used section for half price and bought it for just under $120,000. I'll get the header and other equipment in the next episode. Back to the pea harvest on field 78. I made an additional $11,600 from the leftover crops. And that brings us to the end of episode 4 of Starting from Zero in Farming Simulator 25. We're ending the season with almost $313,000. Not bad at all, considering we started from nothing. That wraps up the first season. If you enjoyed this episode, please like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode in the next season. If you want to rewatch the earlier episodes, there's a full playlist ready for you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.